How to render from sketch to finish, Creature Edition. First of all, we need a sketch. After the initial draft, I make sure to have a clean and smooth line art using a consistent brush size. Then, to start the rendering, I add a base color underneath the line art layer. Instead of having one solid color, I used multiple colors of different hues to add variety in the base color. I add bright colors, then use the blur or blending tool to have smooth strokes. As you can see, I try to use colors that don't stray away from the color I want the creature to look like. For the shadows, I add them in places where I want depth to be emphasized. So for example, I add shadows underneath his chin, the lower half of his arms and legs, and even in the scrunch between his eyes and mouth because I want him to look like he's glowering. Then, I push the shadows and the highlights. This creates depth on the artwork without needing line art. For example, I add shadows underneath and highlights above to create that 3D effect. I think you can see it on the artwork now. At this point, I clip a layer above the line art layer and paint over the black lines. I used green for the overall artwork, but dark green for his face, arms, and feet. This is because I want to use the dark lines as shadow. I merged the line art and color layer, so I'm only working on one merged layer right now. I don't hesitate to paint over the line art, especially on parts and surfaces that would hit the light. For this, I pretty much painted over the lines on his spike to remove the harsh lines on the tip or the point of his spikes. This creates that 3D effect that we're going for. I add some wood texture on his stem as well as highlights on parts that would protrude. And that's it. Feel free to leave questions in the comments.